Deliver Brexit, unite the country and defeat Jeremy Corbyn. Those were Prime Minister Boris Johnson's introductory comments as he was crowned the new Prime Minister of the UK, winning the Tory leadership race. And as he pointed out, probably not the best acronym for an election campaign because it spells dud, but he hastily added the E, energise the British nation. So it's actually dude, and I've got two dudes with a view from the market on things. Rob Tyrwell, Senior Portfolio Manager at Sasfin Wealth, and Jordan Weir, who's definitely a dude, trader at Citadel. Evening, chaps. Rob, Britain's got a new PM, but with all the same problems that his predecessor had. Good luck guiding the UK through a Brexit with a paper-thin majority in Parliament.
Yes, it's going to be very difficult for Boris Johnson as well. He says he'll even take a no Brexit, which people are a little bit worried about. But it's still going to have to go past Parliament, through Parliament, so he's going to have the same difficulties that Theresa May had. And let's see what he can do with it. But more uncertainty for the UK economy.
Looking at, as I said, the bond market, it didn't, it barely flinched. The pound continues to be quite weak. It hasn't really moved all that much on the news. So let's move swiftly along to local market news. And Jordan, to bring you in here, 24 billion rand traded hands on the day. That's a nice jump from the 14 billion we had yesterday. What was your reading of markets today?
Yeah, very, very interesting markets today. Just no reaction really from the rand in general, with all the stuff going on in the world currently. Obviously, our public protector versus Gordon this morning, and with the UK, the rand held extremely steady. It's actually nice to see a normal amount of volume going through the market at the end of the day. It was around 15 billion going into auction, and then around 7 billion went through auction. Big numbers on the day though came from Mondi, which saw well over 6 billion rand traded just on its stock today. But in general, all of our indexes were up. So ever so slightly. We sort of went out the racing blocks quite well this morning, and then there just seemed to be a lack of follow through in the afternoon. We pulled back a little bit, but all in all, very surprising day.
That surprise was into the auction, Rob. It looked like a fairly tepid day until lots of volume in the closing auction. Mondi we'll get to. Kumba could be another one. The market seemed to struggle to digest these results initially. At first blush, they looked superb, fantastic dividend. I think the share price back in 2016 is what it's paying in its dividend now. But then reading through the results, there were some operational issues. I think operationally, production down 11%, and the market ending the day marking Kumba down on the back of this.
Yeah, so Kumba finished down 2.9%, which is quite surprising. The initial dividend of 30 Rand at the open pushed that price up to 522 Rand about, and it closed at 475. So quite a big swing in the Kumba price during the day. I think operationally it was a bit poor. You saw that there's been problems in iron ore around the world in production, and they had an opportunity to really ramp up production and get like super profits. And so production down 11% on the local side was a bit poor for them, and the market's a little bit worried about that. Also, the life of the mine is now they're extending it to 20 years, but 20 years is not the longest time in the world either for a big iron ore mine like that. So I think maybe the market is just thinking most of it is in the price. We're getting a very big dividend, and so I think some people took some money out of Kumba.
And also, how much longer can iron ore prices stay at these elevated levels, Rob? If you look at it, a lot of it on the back of the Vale Dam disaster and the fact that other big players couldn't really capitalize on that. Surely at these levels, we're already hearing talks that Samandu and that giant iron ore project might be brought to bear. So there must be some new supply coming on stream relatively promptly.
I think the supply is slowly coming on stream at the moment. We saw Billiton have problems earlier in the year with hurricanes, and they couldn't get iron ore out of Australia. The port got damaged. That's starting to come online. And then the narrative worldwide is that growth is slowing worldwide, yet the iron ore price keeps going up. Most people have expected it to come down for the last 4 or 5 months, and it hasn't. We'll see how long it stays there. But the longer it stays there, every single month, the average price of iron ore for like a Kumba starts to get longer and longer, and therefore the super profits are there. So it stays here another 3 months. There's really good numbers for Kumba then.
Really good numbers. Talk to me about Mondi, Jordan. You mentioned that was the standout for you. The packaging and paper group saying that headline earnings per share for the half year will be up by between 9 and 16%, but the market really liking the story overall.
No, definitely. I think one of the big things that was, I suppose, part of these numbers as well was that in the last reporting period, there were a lot of once-off costs that were involved in the reporting. So with those once-off costs no longer there, investors are starting to see the real shine of the business coming through. So I think, that was, I suppose, the general sentiment of the day. Was nice to not see all these massive once-off costs and to just let the company, show exactly what it is and where it's at. So, very impressed on the day. The volume was amazing. Like I said, over 6 billion. So massive volume going through it. A longer run, they're looking to make their primary listing in London as well. So that volume, I'm not too sure what that volume is in essence, but it was good to see the good 2% move up on the day.
Rob, Mondi, one that you like?
We do like Mondi in that sector. Obviously you can do Sappi or Mondi on the local front. We prefer Mondi, managed very well. I think a lot of it had to do today as well is that when they have this corporate action, they're going to split the two companies, take the two companies into one. There's going to be a capital gains event if you hold the Mondi, the local Mondi. So you can get a CGT event, or you can get a dividend tax event. So depending on where you hold your assets and in what type of vehicle, you might want to change your position in Mondi. Because you can get away with capital gains rather than dividend tax at 20% if you're exempt, for argument's sake, for capital gains. So, I think a lot of that was going through the market today, and people switching from the local Mondi into the PLC.
Important to note that. And then on the issue of tax, the geese have been plucked to the point where we're tired of the plucking, Rob. We have the finance minister announcing in the special appropriation bill in Parliament this morning, Eskom will get another 59 billion. This is really just operational cash flow to help tide it over as the restructuring, we're still waiting for the chief restructuring officer as that unfolds. But he announced in the same speech that it looks likely that this will be funded through higher taxes. Where?
I'm not sure where. Definitely not from the man in the street. And we are starting to get taxes on carbon, so carbon taxes are coming through. That's going to help the fiscus. Then we've got NASPIS's unbundling, which is going to be a huge CGT event that's going to bring billions into the fiscus. They haven't really added that in. So, we've got the Mondi is also going to be a capital gain. So there is some
PepsiCo Pioneer.
That would be some foreign direct investment coming in. So yes, there are some other areas that they're starting to get taxed from, but from the man in the street is really taxed to the hilt. So I can't see them bringing any more tax in from the general public.
Rob Towell, Senior Portfolio Manager at Sasson Wealth, and Jordan Weir, Trader at Citadel, with your view from the market. Katleho has your traffic after this.